Hey, how is everybody this morning? Richard Blissbrook here, coming to you live from the ranch. Yep, I got my prop. So I don't know. You can tell me in the comments. Have you ever seen me in a cowboy hat before? Probably not. By the way, that's a Stetson, and I'll tell you a story about where I bought this hat. I'll tell you a story, and then I'll teach you something. So, gosh, this has to be about 1983. 1983, I don't know. I'm 30 years old, maybe, and I'm making $40,000 a month as a network marketer. Disclaimer: the odds of you ever making $40,000 a month in network marketing are one out of like a trillion. So don't even try. Don't even think about it. Just stay right where you're at. Chill out. But, given that I used to work in a chicken plant, it qualified me immensely to be successful in network marketing. And so, yeah, I was making $40,000 a month. And my two of my best friends from high school they were making more than that. And none of us had any college education. And they worked at the chicken plant or they worked at the ragu spaghetti sauce factory. And yeah, we're killing it. So our corporate office is in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I lived in Orlando. One of the guys lived in Oklahoma City, and the other guy lived in Manhattan. And one day we're in Oklahoma City for like, I don't know, some kind of meeting or something. And meeting's over, and we're headed home. I also had a home in Chicago. So before we go home, we decide, well, we're going to go by Teeners. I don't know if Teeners is still in Oklahoma City or not, but Teeners is kind of a high-end Western store. And, we're all kind of full of ourselves, and we decide that we're going to get all cowboyed up. So we go into Teeners and drop about $5,000 on a bunch of stupid stuff that we'll never wear again. I had them for like 20 years. Blue Anteater Lucchese cowboy boots. Blue Anteater Lucchese cowboy boots. And I think I still have it somewhere. I don't know where it is, but a big old sterling silver and gold, 18 karat gold belt buckle that I did not win in a rodeo. I bought at Teeners with an eagle claw holding a real $20 gold piece. And this Stetson hat, and I don't know what else. So anyway, we're all going home after our trip in Teeners. There is a lesson here, by the way, in losing yourself in your success. And so I fly from Oklahoma City to Chicago, and it's the first time I've ever gotten in an airplane with a cowboy hat. And I had the box, and so I'm trying to put the box in my hat, and I'm feeling kind of weird, real weird actually. And so anyway, I get off the plane and I go to the curb, and actually a friend of mine, Russ Devan, occasionally he might watch something like this, so shout out to you, Russ, for picking me up at O'Hare. And I'm standing on the curb at O'Hare, and I have on a fully custom, back in 1983, $3,000 three-piece blue serge wool suit. Get this suit on. I don't have the belt buckle on the suit. I got this hat on, and I'm wearing my blue Anteater cowboy boots, and I'm standing on the curb at O'Hare and waiting for Russ Devan to pick me up, which I probably couldn't even get in his car with this hat. Cowboys, I don't know how they do it, but somehow they learn from a young age how to sit in a car with a hat. Doesn't it keep doing this? I don't know. So I'm standing on the curb, and I actually grew up on a ranch. I'm on my ranch right now. This is in the foothills below Yosemite. And my parents had about 1,000 acres below here, and then 3,000 acres about 30 minutes away. And I bought some of this about 20 years ago, and my sister and I own what's left of my mom's place below. And so I grew up on a ranch, but I never considered myself a cowboy because that's my horse right there. And I got a Harley in the garage. That's another horse. And I got another ATV over there. That's another. I prefer horses that, like, this is how they go, like this, not like giddy up. So even though I grew up on a ranch, I had never considered myself a cowboy. Anyway, I'm standing on a curb, and this lady is standing next to me, and she's probably like, and she looks up at me and she says, "Are you a real cowboy?" And in that moment, I realized how stupid I looked and how much I had lost my way and how much my $40,000 a month as a 30-year-old idiot had corrupted my thinking. And it's certainly one of the things that has plagued the network marketing profession for 50 years is, yeah, you can make a lot of money in network marketing, obviously, but obviously most people don't make any. And so somewhere in between that, the idea that you can make a lot of money when somebody actually does make a lot of money very often goes to their head. And like it went to mine. And, all I did was spend $5,000 on stupid cowboy stuff. But some people spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on huge homes and Rolls Royces and jets and all kinds of stuff, which I'm not opposed to any of that. You buy whatever you want, right? Just don't lose yourself in the process. Anyway, I just wanted to explain the prop because I walked in my closet this morning. I thought, oh, there's my cowboy hat, which I've had for, 1983, 43 years. I've had this hat. Looks brand new, right? Because it's never been out on the range. Never ridden a horse with it that I can remember. Sits in a box on my shelf, and my buddy Mitch wears it more than I do. So anyway, that's that, but that's not why I'm here. Why I'm here this morning is to tell you a story about telling stories. So I promised you some content, and so here's the content. What I promised you is, who's going to win the Final Four, right? Who's going to win the Final Four? And that's going to be Duke. So you got Eastern time, Vegas time. You got plenty of time to put your bet down. It's going to be Duke. The odds aren't that great, so you're not going to win that much money. But how do I know that? I'm just basketball is my thing, as you probably know. I actually don't have any idea. It's just a wild guess. But anyway, besides gambling on Duke, what I promised you was a tool that would be worth, I can't even tell you how much it would be worth because that would be irresponsible to suggest that you could earn any specific amount of money in network marketing. Actually illegal, or I guess. But here's the tool. The tool is your story. Your story. And I have a particular format that I teach called the 1 minute miracle. And why do I use the word miracle? Well, because the regulators, the people that want to, the compliance people, they can't actually regulate the word miracle. It's not a claim they can get their teeth into. And so you can say my network marketing career has been an absolute miracle. You can say I took these products and I used them for 30 days and oh my gosh, I can't even tell you what happened, but it was a miracle. And so we just have to be smarter than the people that are, always trying to keep our mouths shut and not have us tell our truth. And I'm all for the regulators. I'm all for them. And they have their job and we have our job, and our job is to tell a story that inspires people to maybe want to do something more with their life. Not tell them to do something more with their life, but maybe just inspires them to do something with your life. And if you can't tell your story, if you can't tell any story, if you can't cast a vision, if you can't show people what's possible, what's not a very compelling story, right? So unfortunately, we can't give a lot of details because that would perhaps have the typical person think that we're giving them a guarantee. And, unfortunately, the regulators are always trying to protect the stupidest people in the world who, if I said, you might be able to be successful, what they hear is, oh, that's a guarantee. That's not very good discerned thinking. But anyway, here's the tool. Your tool is your story. And the reason I call it a 1-minute miracle is because if I ask you to tell me your product story or your network marketing story, hey, well, why are you using that product, or why are you involved in that company, or hey, tell me about that company or that product, you, like most people in network marketing, are probably going to be talking 15 or 20 minutes later. I quit listening 14 minutes ago because I went home to check on the kids or see what time it is or think about what I'm going to do the rest of the day or something like that. And the last 14 minutes of your story are probably totally non-compliant. So what I teach people to do is tell their story in 1 minute, which actually takes a little bit of work to craft your story in 1 minute, and use hyperbole instead of claims. Hyperbole is mind-blowing, miraculous, crazy, game-changing. It's the same thing politicians use to get elected, right? I promise I will change the world, without giving any details. But it works. So, as long as you use it sparingly and believably, it does sort of inspire people, their interest. So what I'm going to give you today there's 5 C's to the structure that I teach in the 1-minute miracle. And I'm going to give you 3 of them. I'm not going to give you all 5 of them because then that would leave nothing for you to be curious about. I'm going to give you 3 of them. And here's the first one. The first one is context. And I'm going to give you these 3 with my story. So my story, as some of you may know, is I used to work in a chicken plant. And I don't know how many times in the last 45 years I have said to people, I used to work in a chicken plant. 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 And as soon as I say those words, people are like, what? Tell me more about that chicken plant. How's that? How did that work? Right? So I used to work in a chicken plant is the first C of the 5 C's. It's context. And context is, okay, maybe I don't know you intimately. I don't know your whole story. Maybe I've met you, but maybe we just met. Maybe our only relationship is really on social media. So I don't know the things that I know about people that live in proximity to me, that I grew up with in proximity. I don't know where you live. I don't know where you went to school. I don't know if you're married. I don't know about your family. I don't know what you do for a living, right? So context is like, if I start telling you a fairy tale, well, fairy tales just kind of come out of thin air. And so the listener has no context. So the line in a fairy tale that creates context is once upon a time. Once upon a time, once upon a time. By the way, Ken, thank you for sharing this. Ken Walls, who's my live stream coach. It's right there, Ken Walls. You guys all see him. Click on Ken Walls. I'm sure he has a funnel. You know what a funnel is? A funnel is there's clickbait at the top of the funnel. It's like cheese in a mousetrap. You look up there and you go, clickbait, right? The clickbait for this live video was, by the way, I'm going to tell you who's going to win the Final Four. That was clickbait, right? That's a cheese at the top of the funnel. So you go and you look at the top of the funnel and you see the cheese, and then you fall in the funnel. And what comes out the bottom end is cha-ching. Ken makes money. And so if you go to Ken Walls, look for the cheese, find the funnel, just go ahead and dive in, because this guy's masterful. He's just a masterful live streaming coach, and he's a bargain. He's like an incredible investment. And so anyway, thank you, Ken, for sharing, because that's what live streamers do, is they share. And because that's the way these things work, right? We get exponential penetration if people share. And if any of the rest of you share, I'll shout out to you I can actually see you. So anyway, where was I? Oh, context. So the first C is context. So once upon a time is context. I used to work in a chicken plant is context. So your context in your story is, where do you live? What did you do for a living, or what do you do for a living? It might be, I used to be a nurse. I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I got 3 kids and an adorable partner. And that's context. Okay, now I got a sense of who you are. I don't need like GPS coordinates. I don't need your life history. I don't need Wikipedia. I just need a once upon a time, right? So that's the first C. The second C is challenge. And what's the challenge? The challenge is what's going on in your life. In our business, it's usually health, fitness, like that, usually, not always. But what's going on in your life that was a challenge for you that made you open to the product story that somebody told you, right? What made you a qualified prospect? What had you leaning against the door? And so my challenge was that I love the chicken plant. I plan on spending the rest of my life there. I really did love it. This wasn't like, I don't know. I love the community. I love the corporate structure. I love the way you could work your way up. I love the politics. I didn't really love chickens, but anyway, so I loved the chicken plant. But Foster Farms, that was the name of the plant, changed their policy that said no one can advance any further than I already was without a 4-year college degree. And I cheated to get out of high school. So that was the challenge. The challenge was my career was disrupted. My vision, my life plan was disrupted. I was lost. I was like, I had no plan. I had no career. I was open. I was vulnerable. Challenge. Connection. Third C. Connection. This is so important for people trying to understand how our business works. Our business is person to person. Our business is story to story. It's word of mouth. Word of mouth is still the #1 trusted form of marketing in the world. One person that we trust telling us a story. And yet, it's actually not the paradigm that most people have when it comes to selling a product. So if I'm telling you about a product, most people think, well, I should be able to buy it on Amazon, or I should be able to Google it, or go to a store, or go to a website, or right. Well, what do you mean buy it from you? That's kind of weird. Well, how's that work? Well, it works like, here's my link, go to this website and buy it, right? It works like you actually think it works, except it's not advertising that drives you to the link. It's a story from somebody you trust that drives you to the link. And people don't really get that. They don't expect that. So the third C is connection. And connection tells the story, like a miniature story, of who told you the story. Who introduced you? How did you know them? How did you know them is context of the connection, right? So they don't care about the person's name because they don't know that person, right? But how you knew them, like my uncle or my aunt or my next door neighbor or my best friend or somebody from work or somebody I met online or somebody whose post I saw on social media, all of that works. How did you know them? Why did you trust them? Secret sauce. Secret sauce. This is what you pay the big money for. When I'm teaching you how to tell a story, why'd you trust them? Now, if here's the third C in mine, who told me the story of network marketing that got me out of the chicken plant was actually, ironically, the same guy that got me the job at the chicken plant. One of my best friends from high school. He got me the job at the chicken plant because I got fired from working at the gas station because I left the front door of the gas station open 2 nights in a row. I used to close the gas station, last guy there, and so I left the front door open one night, and the owner came and he opened in the morning and he said, oh my gosh, Richard, this is my life savings. You can't leave hey man, wake up. And I left the door open the next night. Why? A stupid kid, right? Stupid kid. Distracted, thinking about everything else except his life savings and his business and my job. Anyway, so that's how I got the job at the chicken plant. Steve says, hey, you might want to come work at the chicken plant. They pay $3.05 an hour and it's union. You get vacations, you get benefits. So Steve got me the job at the chicken plant. Then he left and went to Ragu, and then he left Ragu and he got network marketing. And Steve called me and told me about this opportunity. And I hung up on him, or he hung up on me, but I said, no, I'm not interested. He called me back. I said, I'm not interested. Don't call me again. And then the third time he said, you're out. And he hung up on me. This kind of thing that, good friends do. But the point is, C, connection. Steve Spalding, one of my best friends from high school, same guy who got me the job at the chicken plant, called me and told me about this opportunity. And I trusted him because he's my best friend. Now, why do I say I trusted him? Because I want you, the prospect, to trust me. I'm like, this is, auto suggestion. It's subliminal, only it's not very subliminal, right? I trusted him. Maybe you'll trust me. Get it? So that's the 3 C's: context, challenge, connection. And the 2 C's are a massive mystery that maybe I'll tell you next Saturday. And so anyway, the point is, your story, folks, your 1-minute miracle is free. It doesn't cost you any money to create it. Create it one time, which might take you a month to practice it, write it, rehearse it, get feedback on it, put it on video, authentically on video. And now you have a tool. You have a tool that your company can't give you. You have a tool you can't buy. You have a tool that's absolutely priceless, because then you don't have to tell your story over and over and over and over and over again. Every time somebody asks you, or every time you get to a place where you could say, if you're interested, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Or, anytime it's appropriate, you don't have to start running your mouth. You can just say, hey, I got a link. It's a minute. Would you honor me and watch my story? It takes a minute. And guess what? People watch it. And so you can, instead of talking non-compliantly and unbelievably and wearing people out and people not even paying attention, create a tool that'll make you millions. Create a tool that'll make you millions. The most valuable tool you could ever get. Way more valuable than any video any company could give you. And that's what I have to say about that. Now we transition. We're going to take a break, and we're going to take a commercial break. And then when we come back, I'm going to sell you something. So if you want to leave, that's okay. Cool. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Jordan. Hey, thrill fun. Hey, Ken. Ken comments, thank you, Ken. Who else is here? Michael, John Amato. Happy birthday, John. Everybody say happy birthday to John. How about that? Hey, Sonia. Hey, Joseph Thompson. Jerry Grunman. I think was it John? Was it John's birthday or Jerry's birthday? I think it was John's birthday. Hey, Ray. Hey, Romero. Hey, Doug. Hey, Gail. All right, I don't see a lot of people sharing this. Now you got teams, don't you? Don't they want to hear this? Share it. So anyway, this is the commercial break before the commercials. This isn't really as a commercial, but this is more about story. So the most money I've ever made in network marketing, folks, by the way, was I used to work in a chicken plant and telling that story. And that's what got me on the cover of Success Magazine. They liked that story. I was the most successful person in network marketing, not by a long shot, but they loved the story. The title of, Chicken Chopper to CEO. That was the title of the magazine. They love that story. That story has made me tens of millions of dollars. This story has made me tens of millions of dollars, and it can make you a lot of money too. This is the 4-year career, which has 10 stories in the back of it. Tell me whose stories are in here. JJ Burden, former Denver Bronco, super successful Isagenix guy. Tony and Sarah Zalecki with Modere, super successful. Charlene Fike with Shackley, Luciano with Manatech, Ian Farrar with Purium, Terry Wilson with LifeVantage, Wendy Bakke with Yoli, Michael DiMuccio with Nikon, Robert Packard with Zingular, Tom Chenault with Longevity. 10 stories, super successful stories in the back of the 4-year career. And the 4-year career explains to people, how's this crazy thing work? That's all a story. Give those stories to people, ups their belief, ups their awareness. Okay. Add to stream. Oh, not supposed to show you all those. You can't see all those. Here's what I want to tell you about. If you have been, this will take a minute. If you have been through any of my courses, if you've been through Momentum Masterclass, if you've been through Run Through Rank, if you've been to the 90-day Run to Momentum, if you've been to the Arbonne Game Changers, if you've been through the Mach 2 Transformation course, if you've been to the Live Your Bliss live seminar on Mach 2, you are an alumni of mine, and you have that status in my database. And once you're an alumni, you can tap into everything I do with those courses forever. And I do them every month, and I coach every week on all of those. You can tap into the latest webinars, the latest tools, the latest chat, and all the live coaching and all the library of coaching. Hundreds of hours of stuff. As an alumni, you can tap into whatever you are an alumni for by joining my mentorship program. And what this is showing you here is I'm breaking Momentum Masterclass into 3 programs: pre-launch, launch, and leadership. So that'll be launching in mid-April. You'll hear more about that. This is all the stuff you get for mentorship. It's not for customers. It's not for casual people. It's for people that are intending to build. And it's $47 a month. And if you're interested, go to enrollmomentum.com, enrollmomentum.com. There's a Q&A there that'll probably answer your questions. And that's all I have to say about any of that. Hey, thank you for joining me today from Bliss Ranch in the foothills below Yosemite, California. And maybe I'll see you next Saturday. Have an awesome weekend.